kind of start off. So I was, born in Iraq in '97, and then, I remember as a kid when, we used to sleep on concrete because my family couldn't afford to have beds. It was pretty bad. And then, after the Iraq War, we lost our house and we're just kind of moving from one place to another, literally almost every week for a number of years. And then eventually we left Iraq when I was 9 years old, went to Syria for a couple of years, seven of us living in like a one bedroom, 500 square feet apartment on the floor again, all that sort of stuff. So it was just poverty all along, basically. And then we came to the U.S. when I was 11, Memphis, Tennessee. We were all super excited. Started from nothing. We were on housing assistance. We were on food stamps. Like any welfare program you could think about, we had it back in the day. And I just, as a kid, I just hated that. I'm like, you know what? If when I could work, I will make sure I do everything possible to change this because I don't want to live like that. And so when I was
Mm.
18 years old, I was a used car salesman and I was going to college and I had no idea what I was doing in college. Like I spent basically a
Can
year
I
and a half.
stop you?
Yeah,
Like I want to sit in this journey as a kid and this transition. I mean, that's like a lot to unpack.
yeah.
I mean, my goodness, like you're sleeping on concrete floors, you're moving every single week. Like, how old are you when this is happening? And like, can
Y-
you kind of describe the feelings you had as a
yeah.
kid? All those types of things.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Not to mention the experience of the Iraqi
it was not
War. I
fun. I
mean,
think I was like 5 or 6 years old at the time, and like, hearing about missiles and gunshots, and I remember asking my family that because they were worried about missiles hitting our house. I'm like, oh, I hope a missile hits our house because I want to see what that feels like. I had no idea.
oh wow.
And then like when I was in fourth grade, I remember I was walking with my dad to take the final exams as a fourth grader, and it's like seeing people getting shot in the street or people dead in the streets, and people were like, "Are you fucking nuts? Like, why are you guys back here? Like it's not worth it, But I still went, did it, whatever. But yeah, it was not fun. It was not easy, and but I'm glad none of us died or anything. So that's good on the bright side.
Totally. That's a good
Yeah, yeah.
upside.
So that
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly a
yeah,
bright
that
note.
that that was good. But no, I mean, having said that, I just it was not fun. I hated it, and thank God we ended up leaving. I always tell people like people don't understand how good we have it here. I mean, we're
Mm.
living an easy life in
Hmm.
the U.S. And so people complain all the time about all this dumb crap out there, but it's like it's so minuscule in comparison to what other people deal with all the time. So I'm glad I got that other perspective early on, so that way now I know how much better we have it, and I have no excuses basically. But yeah, I mean, when I was 18, I was selling cars. I was going to college, doing all that crap, and I hated that. I'm like, you know what? I don't see myself doing anything in college that was going to be interesting to me, and I didn't want to be a used car salesman for the rest of my life. So I looked at some of the richest people on the planet because I knew I wasn't smart enough to figure out different businesses. I was just like, okay, who are the richest people? I'll just copy what they're doing, and I noticed that most of them were in real estate. And so at the time, I'm like, you know what? That's all I need to think about. I'm just going to go and get into real estate. And the only thing I could afford to do at the time was get my real estate license. I actually didn't even have the money to pay for my real estate license, but I had a credit card that had $5,000 on it. So I'm like, you know what? It's going to cost me about $2,000 to get my license. Let me just go ahead and do that. So I got my real estate license, and I actually thought, I went through a bunch of like YouTube videos and all that sort of stuff, and I thought this was going to be super easy. I'm going to get in, I'm going to call the expires, I'm going to call the
Hmm.
FISBOs, I'm going to, start getting commission checks like crazy. But then after getting in, I quit my job, I quit college, went all in on real estate, and I just started knocking on doors literally every single day from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock. I would wear a suit,
Beautiful.
and I did it 7 days a week nonstop. And I did that literally for 3 months. Now, remember, I was 18 years old, I was overweight, so I literally I did not look like a proper agent. And
Give
what
us an idea.
happened?
I mean, how overweight?
I was 245.
Okay, you were overweight.
Yeah, now
Oh.
now I'm now I'm 182, so I look different. Uh,
So I say you're looking pretty trim
uh,
now. So.
I'm trying to cut down a little more, but yeah, I mean, I was out for 3 months knocking on doors, knocked on thousands of doors. I got nothing. I literally did not even get a single lead. And I
Mm.
followed all the Mike Ferry scripts and all that sort of stuff. It didn't work out for me at all. And so at the time, I basically, completely racked up my credit card. I'm like, okay, well, I have to go back to work. I have to do something. So I went back to the car sales job, which I absolutely hated, but I was really good at it. I think part of it is because I didn't look very threatening because I was only 18 at the time, so it was easier for me. But I got in and I'm like, you know what? I could either give up on my sales, my real estate sales business, business, I guess. Or I could just figure out another way to do this. And so at the time, I'm like, you know what? I'm noticing there were a lot of times where I'm not doing anything, just sitting in the office. Instead of being on Facebook, I could just pick up the phone and start dialing people. So I actually just bought a list, and I started cold calling first with my cell phone, just one at a time. And I'm like, okay, there has to be a faster way. So I found out about Mojo, where I could dial
Mm-hmm.
three people at the same time. So I started doing that. And then I'm like, hold on, I'm not using my other ear. What if I have two headsets on? So I actually put on two
Whoa.
headsets, two phones, and I was dialing. And there were many times where I would speak to two people at the same time. I'd just mute one ear and then have the other one open, have two
No.
conversations. It was nuts.
No.
That is nuts.
But
Oh,
here's the
damn.
here's the interesting part. I literally had to cold call for 9 months. I would come in the morning at 8 o'clock, and I would not leave until like 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock. And sometimes I would dial from the bathrooms of the car dealership because customers would come in and they're like, "Why is that guy talking about real estate in a car dealership?" So I would have to like go to the bathroom. I'd have to go to the rooftop and just to continue dialing. And so I did that literally 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 9 months before I finally got my first transaction. So it actually took me one full year
Whoa.
to get one deal. And man, I wanted to quit every freaking day. But I'm like, you know what? At some point, I just quit on the idea of quitting. I'm like, I have no other option. This has to work. There's no
Mhm.
plan B.